This week on It's Clear as Mud, I'm going to be working with a potter who works in a studio that I belong to, and he's been throwing for a while, and he's been trying my production potter tapes, trying to throw 100 cylinders. And he's been struggling a little bit, so I've offered him a private lesson, and we're going to go over some of the pitfalls and the problems that everybody's going to encounter doing this, and it was really nice of him to volunteer. This is going to be a somewhat long tape, but I think there's a lot of stuff in here that's really, really, really valuable, and I don't want to take it away from you. You can always come back later or choose to watch it a different time. But let's get in here with Charlie and let's start throwing some stuff and look at some techniques, especially for centering, that are going to be greatly helpful for you in the future.
Been working at throwing for a few years now, and I watched Jeff's videos, and they really help me with centering and pulling the sides up, and so I'm kind of looking forward to doing this today and maybe learning a little bit more that I really should know.
That's great. Okay, why don't you go ahead and just center that ball for us as best you can, and we're going to do some of the drills that you've seen in video 2. So you don't have to open it up, and it doesn't even have to be perfectly centered. But you were trying coning, so why don't you cone that up as high as you can, and I'll see if I can help you with just a little bit more with your centering.
Okay.
So try coning with both hands without the sponge for a second, and just push it in and just try and pull it up a little higher if you can. Okay, that's good. Now take your right hand and go over the top of it a little bit with your right hand. Oh, try your left hand. So the camera can see it. Go over the top of it a little bit higher, a little bit higher. Now take your hand and push it over towards your right knee. And see it goes down and it centers automatically. Okay, so when you cone up, the idea of coning up is to get your hand over the top of it a little bit and then push it over. And as you push it over, if you don't put your hand over the top, it's going to create kind of a mushroom.
Yeah, okay? So I've always done it with the other hand, but now that felt a lot better to do it that way.
So what I want you to do now is push that, go on the top of that, just kind of push that down into a pancake. A little pancake on the wheel. So just, you could do it with your bladed hand if that's easier for you, but just push her on down. And we're going to do some of those drills that you saw in video 2. So, okay. So on top of it, move your hands on top with a bladed hand like that. Bladed hand, there you go. And just push it down to the wheel head. Just go, go, go. There you go. Go, go. Okay, you can stop there. Go, go, go is going to be something you're going to hear a lot of, because I'm going to ask you to go quicker than you're used to doing. Okay, that's great. Now what I want you to do is come in from the side, clean your sponge off in the water there. And come in from the side, and what we're going to do is the first drill where I don't want you to take the sponge off the wheel head. I want you to just push into the side of the pot with your sponge.
Not with this hand?
Yeah, you can leave the left hand completely out of it. And so you're just pushing in from the side, and you're going in as far as you're going. And see the clay coming up? See the clay coming up there, Charlie? Yes? Mm-hmm. Okay, now move your right hand up a little bit. Just go up towards the top. Keep pushing in, push in. There you go, keep pushing in. Keep going up. There you go, up, 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 up. Keep going up, go up. Okay, stop. Okay, so I'm gonna ask you to do things. You're gonna have to go past some of your barriers.
Okay.
And so right now, you don't want to move that hand up, right? You don't want to do it. Yeah. And I understand that completely. But you have to, in order to be able to throw, you have to move it up. But what I want you to look at is how much that piece of clay moved up in the air without you pulling on it, right?
Right.
And so that's significant right there in and of itself. So now what I want you to do is I want you to take your left hand and put your middle finger inside the pot and put your right finger, your thumb outside. Go all the way down to the bottom, okay? And you can leave your right hand out of it and just gently pinch in and pull up. And you're still going in on this, okay? Oh, that's really good. Keep going up, keep going up. Don't worry about the lump. Don't worry about it peeling off. Just keep going. There you go. Keep going up. Good. Now, what causes that is uneven pinching, right? And so, but don't worry about it.
Yeah.
Go ahead and set that off to the side, and go ahead and okay. One of the things that's going to have to happen here is you want to throw, okay? I want you to do what I want you to do.
Okay.
So you stop doing until I tell you to do, and then and then because you see you're fiddling, and the idea of this entire thing is to not fiddle.
Okay.
There's no massaging this into place. It's 1, 2, 3, and 4, and so like I said, you become almost like a robot. Okay. So. Go ahead and and we'll go back to the pinching drill, and you don't have to open it up, you don't have to smooth it out or anything, just get the wheel going. Okay, now gently pinch in and pull up, but continue to move your hand towards the center. Okay, and go up. There you go. Doesn't mean you need more speed on the wheel. Okay, so that's going to be a common thing that people are going to do, is they're going to try and get more speed on the wheel. You're going faster, not the wheel. Okay. So go ahead and stick your finger. You can open that up a little bit and stick your finger all the way down to the bottom. Because you remember, this is just a drill. We're not throwing a pot here. Stick your finger all the way down to the bottom. Okay. So let's try pinching again. This time, so you were doing really well there at first until you put the pedal to the metal.
Okay.
So what you want to do is you want to just pinch in and pull up. Okay.
Is this about the right speed?
A little bit more. That's about good. Yeah. Okay. Right hand is not doing anything right now. We're just pinching in and pulling up. But I like the fact that you want to get your right hand in there. So go. Pinch in and pull up. Up. No more speed on the wheel. Take your foot off the pedal might help. There you go. Stop. Now that's pretty good, right? So now we want to marry the two of them together: the pushing in from the outside and the pinching in and pulling up. And what you're going to have to remember to do is, after you've gone across the wheel head with your sponge and the clay starts to come up, then you're going to have to move your sponge up with your pinch and your pull. And that's why you marry your thumbs together, because then both hands are moving as a unit.
So the sponge is at the same level as
the wheel head. Oh yeah. See, this finger here is pushing into this finger there. So why don't you, or the center or the middle finger, whatever finger's in there. I use the middle finger because it gets down further. It's a longer finger on me. It's not true on everybody, but see, this sponge here with the fingers is pushing against the middle finger, and your thumb is pushing against the middle finger, and you're getting that clay down the bottom and go up. Very good. Good. Now one of the important things for you to do is to go up, yes, to continue to come up, but also go in, because when you flare out like that, it creates centrifugal force and the whole thing wants to go out. And you can always take it out later on. And you can,
so you're pushing in this hand,
right?
And it's at the same level,
right,
as the middle finger,
right? Okay. So let's cut that one off. And leave that clay there.
That'll make it stick.
That'll make it stick. Yeah, that's a mistake that I've made. Even in some of the videos where I'm trying to have it be clean and look good, and I don't even think about it, and then my ball slides all over the top of the wheel head, and it's frustrating as all heck. Good. Okay. Now that you've got it up, now you can just push it over. One of the things that I'm going to really recommend that you do is start to take your foot off that wheel.
Okay,
I think
just leave it running at a
yeah,
certain
if you,
speed.
and you want to change speed, make a conscious decision to put your foot back up on the wheel, and then and you'll get some muscle memory where the wheel is. But I think one of the things that's happening to you that's probably really frustrating for you is that there are shifts in the middle of throwing. Like if you get excited about it, like I'm going up, you're going faster, faster.
And the wheel goes faster.
Right, the wheel goes faster, and so there's a dialogue that happens inside your head when you're throwing, and that dialogue is really important. And but part of your dialogue is telling you to push that pedal down. So let's try coning it up as high as you can get it. I'll give you a little bit more speed if you need it. There you go. So push in with your sponge on the right, and go up with your hand. And keep going up. Go up. Get it coned up. There you go. Okay, do that again. Get it coned up a little bit further. There you go. Okay, so now what I want you to do is I want you to take your left hand and put it on the side of the cone and a little bit over the top, and push the top of it with your down like that. Push it over here towards your right knee, and see that it's centering itself. And now you might have to change your hand position as it gets lower. There you go, perfect. Okay, that's good.
Still a little out around there.
Okay, let's leave it out around for a second.
Okay.
So now what I want you to do is I want you to open it up. Okay, so go ahead and open it up.
You use the sponge or just your finger?
I use my finger, and very often I keep the sponge in my hand all the time. So I'm pushing on
this hand.
Yeah, so I'm pushing. Well, it's always kind of in my right hand. I push. Sometimes I'll push on my finger with the sponge because opening can be kind of tough. And I'm always controlling the water with the sponge like you just did. So that's good. So now you can pull that out a little bit. So this is the trick that I showed in the video that I want you to try doing.
So it's
a
little bit out around.
Yeah, I know, that's what we want. And we want it a little bit out. So keep pulling it out.
Okay.
Okay. So now what I want you to do is stop. So now what I want you to do is take your sponge and put it over the top of the lip. Okay. And take your right hand and put it inside. Your left hand. Everything's backwards to me. Okay, see now you've got a little goal post here. That's what I call a goal post, is when it's like that. Put the sponge over the top, push down with your sponge and recenter that pot.
Just by pushing down?
Pushing down and pushing in with the sponge.
Okay.
Pushing in with the sponge and recenter the pot.
Feels pretty good now.
Yeah, so you got a little wobble in it, but you have a second center. If you're struggling with the first center, open it up and center it again. And you have,
Does that center the inside? Because sometimes I have trouble if I don't get the inside totally center, then my pot's going to be all off.
Right. I think what we're going to do is worry about the outside, and then we'll clean up the inside with the rib.
Okay.
So pull it out a little bit further. And one of the things with pulling a pot out, as you notice, as you're pushing it in, you're going in, you're coning the piece up.
This is spreading out this way.
Right, like it's spreading out. But when you push that up, you're going to get a lot of height with your right hand, with your sponging. You're going to get a lot of height out of it being opened further than it, and so you're going in and up. Right.
Okay.
So now what I want you to do is, and we're gonna skip some of the steps. We're gonna skip cleaning up the bottom. We'll do that with the next ball because we're still trying to feel this. Now what I want you to do is put your left hand inside with the pinch. Don't do anything just yet. Put your right hand on the outside with the sponge. Okay. Now push into the center with the sponge and pinch in and go up and in. Good. Stop, don't go over the top. Now you can push down on the top a little bit and now see, that's goal posting. That's exactly what I'm talking about. That's called goal posting in my book. I don't know what else I would call it. So let's do that again, okay? Push in at the bottom, all the way at the bottom, pinch in and pull up. Now you don't have to get this perfect this time. We don't have the pointer set up or anything. We're just feeling what that feels like, all right? Okay, good. Why don't you take the other sponge over there and clean your hands up. and I think you might be more comfortable with clean hands. I know I always am. I seem to, the sponge doesn't seem to give me a loss of feeling in my hands, but having all that stuff on my hands does.
I probably leave it on there because it makes it doesn't get dry that way.
Right, and you'll notice, I think you'll probably notice that you're using less water doing this. And water is kind of your enemy here to a certain extent. Water adds lubrication and makes it slip in your hands. But what the water also does is dissolves the pot, softens the clay, and makes your throwing time shorter. So you have to move faster. I mean, with porcelain, you can hardly use any water at all. Okay, so let's do it again. So you've got a fair amount of clay down here. So take your hand all the way, your left hand all the way down to the bottom. Okay. Take your sponge and push that ball of clay into your finger. Okay, now go up and in. Oh, okay.
I pushed too hard.
and right, and so that's why we have the pointer. The whole idea of the pointer is you're thinking about the pointer. You're not thinking about thickness and thinness. And eventually we'll get to the pointer. But what you want to do is concentrate on the pull. Don't concentrate on thickness and thinness. Concentrate just on the pull and on pulling the cylinder up. Now, you won't get to the pointer in the first 50 cylinders, but eventually you will. Eventually you're going to get to the pointer that you want to try to go to the pointer, but it's not the ultimate thing right now, because if the pointer's there and you're throwing to the pointer, you're going to, in the first 50 cylinders, you're going to even out what you're doing, and eventually the clay will meet the pointer, but it's not going to happen right away.
So I pinched too hard here is what.
Right. So yeah, let me get you a little drill, and we'll see if so you can understand exactly what that feels like. Put the quarter on each side of the stick and try pulling it up, sliding, and what that's doing is that's leaving you with a consistent thickness all the way through. And again, this is a feely. This is what you feel when you're practicing this. The idea of this is to understand that you aren't changing the thickness much with your fingers. You're going to a certain thickness and you're pulling it up.
Sort of like if I squeeze too hard, they want to stick.
That's right. And when they stick, that's when you rip your pot in half.
Right.
Yep. That's exactly right. Okay.
Now it's really off center.
Yeah, that's good. Let's center it. Let me show you another trick while you're centering. There's a push and a pull here. One of the ideas of centering is to let the wheel do all the work for you, right? So you want to, and I'm on the other side of the wheel, so I'm just opposite of you. So it's pulling. I'm pulling it this way, and I'm pushing it that way, and I'm allowing the wheel to push into my hand and to pull against my fingers, and to use that to center the ball instead of me.
Yeah, I was sort of squeezing both sides together.
Right. Yeah. The wheel does the work. Yeah, the whole idea is that the wheel does the work for you.
Pull this side and push that side.
Right, and the wheel is what's pulling, and
it's not really fast enough, is it?
You can go faster.
It seems like it's easier to center when you're go a little faster.
Yeah, and it is, but that's also when the clay flies out of round is when you're going real fast. I learned to throw on a kick wheel. And on a kick wheel, you never get very fast because you're kicking it. And every time you put your hands on the clay, it slows down.
It really makes a difference when you pull and push.
It does. It makes a big difference. Now, if you keep pushing and getting it up into a cone, you can get it into a cone from there. But what the difference is the wheels doing the work for you. Okay, so let's try pushing it over now. And push this hand that way a little bit more. There you go. And see, it automatically wants to center. Again, the wheel's doing the work for you.
More.
Let's try opening it up and recentering.
We don't want to pull up with the sponge. It's not quite round.
Nope. I think we ought to open it up and recenter it. I think that's going to be a valuable tool for you and for everybody else to understand that that there's a second centering here. You're fighting the first center.
Yes.
And when it gets out a ways, it's a little bit easier to, you have a little bit more circumference to work with to center it.
Farther out.
Yeah. Yeah, keep going with it. You're pushing and pulling at the same time. Your left hand is pushing in while your right hand is pulling out. The idea here is to pull out. So take your left hand off, okay? Touch the top of your right hand with it, with your left hand. Touch the top of your right hand with your left hand, okay? There you go, just put it on the top. Just put it right there on the top. With this hand.
Oh, I see.
There you go.
Now I understand.
Just the top of the hand. There you go. Now you've married your two hands together, and now you can pull that out. Okay? Good. Now recenter it with your sponge over the top, goal posting. Yeah, but use your sponge. There you go. And you can push that all the way down to the wheel head if you want to. You can just keep pushing down.
It does center that way.
It does.
When you push down.
It does. It's a second center. And so it's really, really important. See now you're nice and wide open. So let's try our drills again, just for the sake of argument, okay? Let's take the left hand and not do anything with the left hand. Let's take the right hand, push the sponge all the way down to the wheel head. All the way down the wheel head and push it in. And as you go in, now start raising your hand up towards the lip. There you go. Keep going. Go faster. There you go. Now, you're going to want to move faster there, and that's where everybody who's doing this drill is going to mess up, because you have a tendency to want to go slow. But once you see the clay start raising up, then you have to go up. The clay's going up, so you're going to have to go up too.
I'm afraid I was going to go over the top, is why I probably was going slower.
Right, and what I tell people, I don't want you to go over the top. If you do, it's not the end of the world. Eventually, you'll work that out. Okay, so let's recenter that one more time. And you'll notice that you can do this over and over again, right? I mean, your centering is even better than it was the first time, right? It's even more centered now. So let's try that again. Push in from the outside and go up. And keep going all the way up to the lip, but don't go over the top. Now you see I have a nice little cone shape there, right? Okay. This time I want you to do the same thing. I want you to do it twice as hard. Okay. Go in and up. There you go. Good. Do it again. Now you can recenter it. You can push it all back down again if you want. Just like it was before, goalpost and push it down. Okay, so you know what would really help that out is if you had your other hand
in the inside.
Right. So now that you've got that, I know, it's just.
Well, it just kept getting wobbly.
Yeah, well, and so now put your other hand on the inside, okay, and kind of recenter it a little bit as you're going up. Go all the way down to the bottom and push this clay in, okay, now go up. Good. Do it again. Okay. Now you see you're thicker up here than you are down there.
Right.
That's maybe one of the first times that's happened. You got the clay up off the bottom of the wheel head. Now it's up in the air, right?
Now I can pull from down there.
Right. So so now what I want you to do is go with your left hand, and I want you to pinch in, leaving your right hand out of it. Pinch in and pull up and in, okay?
Pull up and in.
Right, this is the quarter thing we just did. You're doing the same thing you did with the quarter. Very good, very good. Okay, go do that again. Go all, nope. Go all the way down to the bottom.
It's thin down there.
Okay, well, don't pinch in where it's thin, go where it's thick. Good. Good, okay, do it again. Don't pinch in where it's thin, just let your hand slide up through the thin part and go to the thick part and pull that up. And remember, this is the quarter thing again. You're doing the sliding the quarter up the stick. So you're becoming rigid with your hand.
It helps to hold this one here.
See, now there you go. So if you hold that one there, see the other one, you were going, God, it would be nice to have my hand on the inside of the pot. This one, you're going, it helps to hold that one there. So that's the point. Now marry those two together. Being conscious of the thinness on the bottom, not pinching as hard, and go up and in. Oh, good, perfect. Don't worry about it. Time to cut that one off and time for me to get you another ball.
Okay, well, you finally made it to the end of the video. Thank you and congratulations. I think Charlie was a sport here, and I really appreciate him stepping up and being my guinea pig on this and showing us the areas where he's been having some problems. I think videoing a lesson is an interesting concept, and I'm hoping that you found it helpful. It's important that you go back and look at the earlier lessons, especially 1 and 2, where you're going to figure out exactly what this program is about and exactly what I'm asking you to do. The full program is about getting clay off the wheel, doing it consistently, and throwing to a pointer so that you can make creations over and over again that are important in production pottery, but also important to beginners. So hopefully this was helpful. If I earned your subscription, please subscribe and like. Please leave comments. Comments are very welcome. I hope to improve and get better, and maybe your comments will help me. And for length's sake, I've cut this into a 2-parter. So there's a second part of this video coming up, and I think it's worthwhile, and so hopefully you will too. I want to be able to deliver a lot of content, but I just don't want to bore you to tears. So that's always a challenge. So if you've liked, please subscribe, please comment, and please follow us and find us on Instagram. And I hope to see you again soon. Here's mud in your eye.